Hey everybody, I'm AdamHarry and I'm here with
Larry Vela.
We're from Bell of Lost Souls and we've got the core rulebook for Warhammer 9th edition, 40k 9th edition. Woo!
Super excited.
Yes, I am.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so real quick, we did a video unboxing the stuff in the new Crusade Warhammer 40k Indominus boxed set, the new launch box. We promised you we were going to do a more in-depth review of the book. This is that video. We'll have, again, another two videos actually, one for the miniatures, which will focus on the Marines, and one that'll focus on the Necrons. Those are coming out soon, but we wanted to talk about the core rulebook as we were building the minis for the other video. But let's dive in, man.
There we go.
370 pages, hardback.
Woo.
Real quick. Super awesome cover, right?
Super awesome cover.
Look at that.
I guess that's what it probably has an alternative cover. I don't know whether the one in the box set is different than like the core one. We'll see.
Yeah, because normally we get like the hammer.
Yeah, like there's not logos or anything on it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Okay.
So
Indominus.
Apparently that's like the name of the edition, I guess. Maybe.
Who knows? That's the name of the Indominus Crusade.
All right.
Table of contents.
Here's our table of contents. So we're going to go over this really quick. So it looks like we have, this is all lore, basically.
Yeah.
So we have all of the background of the universe starting from page 16 through page 100, roughly 180. So you get a huge amount of background. I bet
like 190, yeah.
Yeah, 190. And then our rules start on 190, and they go, the core rules, and they go down to 266. Wow.
Yeah, that's if you count all
missions.
of the new battlefield stuff and missions here.
Yeah, missions are a lot.
I checked last video. The 233 was where like the basic rules kind of end.
So basically, like
30 missions,
like 35 pages of rules,
roughly.
Which is that's a big increase.
Yeah,
from
we talked about this in
from 8th edition.
I talked about this in the unboxing video, real briefly. We mentioned that just going over the format of the rules, they have changed that whole section up. So pretty cool stuff. And then, of course, open play stuff, where we have the new missions and stuff like that. Matched play,
right? A big chunk from roughly 280 to 300. So you get 20 pages of match play. Narrative is actually pretty beefy. Narrative is really beefy, from 305 to 355.
Yeah, and they've added, the reason they've done that is they've added the Crusade stuff in here, right? So we got the Crusade mission pack, and then we have all the Combat Patrol, Strike Force stuff, Onslaught stuff, and then, as you move up through the narrative play sizes.
And then you get about 10 pages at the very end of various indexes and table of contents and stuff.
And we showed off in the last video the rules terms glossary, which I think is one of the biggest improvements in this book. Just having, like, for instance, I showed this off last time, the auras. You know, we talked about, like, what actually is an aura. Here's the definition, plus the page number. You can go reference and look it up.
Yeah.
Those are some really big structural changes to the core rulebook.
Right, to make it easy to get around the 300-page book.
Yeah, so, it's...
All right, let's
370 pages, man.
Here we go.
So...
Number one, we're going to start off with the hobby. Okay, so we have same thing, lots of primaries. What is that? Check that out.
So this is the first unveiling here. Boom.
New unit.
We don't have to pretend this is our first time going through this, because we've done our homework on this one.
This is the Hammerfall drop turret.
That's correct, folks. And as you can see here, it looks like it's got 4 sides to it, and those have twin link flamers on them, and a kind of whirlwind launcher up top. So that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right, all your standard stuff. It's the classics. It's Guilliman versus Abaddon.
Yeah, we've got knights.
People fight each other. Right, all the basics. How does the hobby work? We're collecting, painting. These are the Assault Intercessors. So again, they're pushing all the brand new stuff.
Warhammer community page, again, reference for that.
There's our answer.
Yeah.
So this is what the normal rule book is going to look like. So if you buy your rule book as part of the box set, it is quasi collectible. It's different.
Yeah. I actually wonder too if there's going to be a new starter set that comes out eventually, because we have dice here and stuff like that, right? So I could see them doing another box set that's just literally like the 9th edition starter box.
There it is again.
Yep,
it's showing up all over the place. They obviously want you to see it.
Yeah,
because we're like 10 pages into this book and we've seen this thing twice.
The new thing twice.
Okay, so here's the really cool thing. Dark Imperium. Okay, so this is probably not going to fit on camera. We'll see what we can do.
This was one of the things I showed off, but we're talking about it at the end because it's so rad.
I'll let Adam kind of steer it around here so we can go through this 4 pages.
I love maps.
Yep.
I think they're really cool. I think they help add some realism to the fantasy worlds we play around.
Right. Context.
So here we have the new updated Galactic Map. Just to point out, we have the Imperium Sanctus.
Yep.
With Terra and Mars right here. And then we have Imperium Nihilus.
Over here, is up on the top, and here's the Great Rift all the way across with the Eye of anchored by the Eye of Terror on this side, and by the Scourge Stars and the Hadex Anomaly on this side.
Yep. And real fast too, they do have a little key here that shows like the different high density stuff, veiled space, and all that fun stuff.
You want to talk about these 2 panels real quick?
Well, we did this before, but I want to show them off again. If you're just now watching us here, this cool panel here is the Sol system, which is Warzone Sol.
Super awesome.
But it's our solar system.
Right.
Yeah?
Earth, Mars, everything's in there.
Holy Terra, Mars.
It's all cool.
Yeah, that's very cool stuff.
And then we'll go way over to the other side for all you people who kind of all the greatest hits of
the
places to if you're looking for a fight, Warzone Cadia, the Nachman Gauntlet from Vigilance, Warzone Bale. This is way up here on the north side. Warzone Ultramar, right and the new one, Warzone Pariah, which
is right here.
Show them right there.
Yeah. Again,
Warzone
I can
Pariah.
walk you through here. Here's Cadia, here's Knockmoon, here's Ball, here's Ultramar, here's the new one here.
Yep,
the Pariah one.
The Pariah sector.
So
very cool. All right, let's flip this over and keep on going.
Again, it talks about this book. If you are a new player, you've got all of your basic core lore here. The warp. What is even that? The Imperium, who are those guys?
Right, you get your thing of here's the Sanctus side. What's going on over here?
Yep.
There's the Imperium Nihilus. What's going on over there?
Yep.
And then and then you're just going through all your basics.
Meet the players.
Right, you got the Emperor. You have the rules. We're not going to go through every page.
Yeah.
Of course, Space Marines.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone loves their Space Marines. As I'm sure you guys are noticing, this book is chock full of new art. Like there's a substantial amount of new art here.
And there's some classic hits in there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this book has a ton of new artwork. All the Inquisition, all that fun. So this was a fun page that we've talked about before. The artwork of the Xenos or the unknown threats or whatever. So.
And almost not. Actually, I don't think anything on this page are known species.
I think the closest thing might be this thing, which might be like a Lord of Skulls, but not. I don't know.
Maybe not. It's just hard to say.
Yeah, this could be like an evil machine spirit. I don't know.
It's weird.
We don't know. It's weird. But it's cool. I want to know who these fungus bros are. That's the army that I want. Then there's more chaos stuff.
Right, this is a version
heretics.
These are all heretics and warp-inspired people.
Yep.
So again, just really quick, we're going over the chaos gods for those who don't know what they are. Just a special call out to Games Workshop. Please make an Imperial Tarot deck of cards.
Ooh.
I want a whole deck of cards that's all like this, so I can play cards.
That'd be yeah.
Right?
What's up with that, GW? Come on.
I know. Come on.
Anyway, we got the 4 dark gods here: Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh.
Yep.
There you go.
Moving on. Said artwork wise, some of the classic hits are still in here.
Yeah.
And then
speaking of Lord of War,
and then this area, this section is history. So you get all of the different ages,
the timelines.
And then you get a 2-page spread on each one. So this is and it goes all the way back. It starts with the Dark Age of Technology. You go to
Age of Strife, Age of Darkness.
Age of Darkness. This is the Horus Heresy.
Yeah.
Some of these have little narrative short stories added to them to take you along. You get Age of the Imperium, bringing you into the modern era. Then we start talking about threats to the Imperium. All of the aliens, what's going on with them. Again, short stories. Chaos. We'll skip along here. This is where we start to have more recent events.
This is the more modern 40K.
Yeah, Gathering Storm. This is a page that basically summarizes the entire rise of the Primarch.
Yeah, the Gathering Storm era.
Right.
Yeah.
So the cross from 7th to 8th edition is in here.
Yeah, with the return of Guilliman and stuff like that.
And over here.
Show that. Check that out.
That is.
Tell me that's the Celestine, Saint Celestine. Fighting off a bloodthirster. That's freaking awesome,
fighting off everything. And then you enter the Imperium. You get a little basics on the Indomitus Crusade, so all Primaris all the time.
Which is kind of where this era is taking us,
right.
Which we'll talk about
Here's
more.
all your Marines, marching forth and kicking butt. And then there's this 2-page spread here, Age of Witches. This is basically all of the events, all of the major events of Psychic Awakening have all been boiled down to these 2 pages, and this kind of brings you up to date.
Right.
So this is, by the time you finish here, you're now current.
Yeah, that is the timeline of 40K up to the launch part of the Indominus Crusade.
Correct.
Post Psychic Awakening.
Once you're done with that, then you're going to get over into... we start with Warriors of the Emperor, but there's also other sections for Chaos and Xenos.
Right.
This is the section of the background now where they're going to give a few pages for every faction in the game.
Yeah.
So you can figure out what
you acquainted with them.
Yeah, so you can figure out what's the background and what do you want to play, right? Here's your thing on Space Marines, and there they all are, and Space Marines are awesome. Yep. And there's a bunch of Primaris chapters all looking cool.
Yep.
Then
the Primaris armor, but yeah. You got some classic chapters like the Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, stuff like that.
Yeah, all the first founding guys are there.
Yep.
And you get some of the weird brand new ones like, Castellans of the Rift and people like that.
Yeah.
Death Watch, Grey Knights.
Yep.
You get the Sororitas. You get these little Warzone pages. Yeah. Several of these are scattered throughout the book. This is probably the most important of them all because this is the new one. So this is Zone Pariah. This is taking you into kind of what I'm sure will be a big important. This is the big thing that the Necrons are doing. So
right.
This is the thing that ties them and makes them big and important. Is they talk about the Psychic Awakening is happening,
right?
And all of the races of the galaxy are dealing with. How are they dealing with it? Are they they trying to become more psychic? Are they trying to kill all their psychers? Are they trying to control them? What are they doing? And the Necrons are basically saying, what we're going to do? We're just going to cut the warp off entirely. That's our solution to it. It's just
just to talk about the Pariah Nexus really quickly too.
Yep.
This area is basically like a warp null zone. The Necrons have started flipping some switches on some Blackstone machinery.
Yeah, they're building
to shut down psychic powers and also kind of cause kind of a malaise on people that enter this zone and kind of like slow them down and make them not want to fight.
Yes. Which is super cool. They are basically remanufacturing Blackstone Pylons.
Yeah.
Which there are some cool little tips and reveals in this book. One of the little tips and reveals is that it is confirmed that Blackstone Pylons were created by the Necrons.
Okay, we finally get the...
That is like clear in black and white, and it talks about how there was apparently a giant galaxy-spanning network of Blackstone Pylons. Oh. They were built by the Necrons specifically to guard their tomb worlds during their sleep. To keep the warp away from them, but over 20 million years, just some of them decayed or fell apart, so now that they're waking back up, they're rebuilding their Blackstone Pylon network.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on.
I wonder if the Pylons and their warp squelching abilities have anything to do with trying to repel the Tyranids because they're all psychic.
Right.
Maybe.
So
the Silent King's back too, right? So
absolutely,
he's back. Could be a thing. Anyway, moving on.
Again, fantastic artwork. Look at this guy. This book is
Custodes guy looks rad.
I love this entire story, which is great. Here's a little story of basically one Custodes who's being like assaulted by cultists, and he's like, "Man, I sneezed and killed." He's just like. It's just like I'm so bored of killing these cultists, but it's my job. But all right, if you guys want to charge me,
your funeral.
You're not going to like what happens.
Yeah.
Astra Militarum. We have.
I just like this art. Of
the female trooper. Yeah, the soldier's lot. You get a little thing here that just tells you basically. It's fantastic. It basically tells you, and it'll settle a lot of your like. Hey, why did you take that army in this game? This is a little story basically telling you while in theory. The Imperium wants to be like, you're Valhalla Ice Warriors, so we're going to send you to cold worlds, and you're Talarn Desert Raiders, and we're going to send you to hot worlds. In theory, that's what they're supposed to do, but basically nothing ever works out.
Yeah, no.
So armies are mismatched, people are just thrown into... People are fighting in areas. Basically, being a guardsman sucks, and you're just happy, and they're like, the guardsmen just realize, they're as long as they have a meal, it's about all they can expect. And the officers and generals of the Imperial Guard also realize, hey, these are the best soldiers we're going to get anyway. So the entire Imperial Guard is just about making do with what you have. And I'm like,
very nice.
It's very nice. Yeah. It's very nicely done.
It's a nice nod. Adeptus Mechanicus. Again, these are all just a little couple page spreads on each of the armies. More of the Splash Warzone stuff. Armageddon, Warzone, classic Warzone.
Same thing. You're going to get your knights. Over here is nice. It's nice that we do have a page on Imperial Agents and that they are actually mentioning, like in the core rulebook, Sisters of Silence, Assassinorum, and Rogue Traders.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I hope that they do more with these.
Me too.
As the edition goes on.
Especially these guys.
I want a Rogue Trader Codex.
There's so many Rogue Traders floating around. I'm just saying.
All right, you all have been waiting for it.
Boom.
Boom.
And here's the first sighting
Adam,
of the official name.
Can you please read that?
Sure. As the Necron forces advance, the Ultramarines draw up an impenetrable firebase centered around their Hammerfall drop turret, whose guns thunder relentlessly as they reap a merciless tally amongst the Xenos ranks.
We get a much,
so there you go.
We get a much better close-up of it. You can see that there's definitely a pair of flamers, which I assume on the two sides we can see. I assume that it has those all the way around.
It's definitely not like a 3-prong because you can't see the back and this is too wide.
Yeah, it's a 4. It's got
to be a 4.
It's 4-sided, and man, that just really looks like they just took that right off the top of a whirlwind.
I mean, it doesn't. It's not gonna. I'm gonna zoom in on it real quick too because it doesn't look like it can move. Obviously, it's a Hammerfall drop pod.
It has its little feet.
Drop turret. Drop turret. It's not even a drop pod.
Right.
So Hammerfall drop turret. So it comes down. It doesn't look like it moves, but it is a firebase, like unto itself, and
it looks like it's an updated version of the old Deathwind drop pod for you guys. Yeah. For all of you old Hori veterans who remember what a Deathwind drop pod is back from.
It also
from
looks like maybe the shield walls here can retract.
I mean,
like if it was to get inside.
I don't even. There's no obvious indications that this is manned in any way.
That's true. It could all just be
because those are the little sensor.
You got sensor things here. You got the little vision slots up here as well. Yeah. You got a little laser rangefinder thing up here, and
it's pretty cool.
Here. It's interesting. A pretty cool new Primaris thing. Yeah.
Moving on. So we're clearly in the color splash section here.
This is all minis.
Yeah, this is all minis all the time,
which look great by the way. These are the minis from the box set painted up in Imperial Fist, and that looks sexy.
Yeah, like everywhere. Ultramarines, Imperial Fist. These are the new bikes as White Scars, looking awesome. Here's the new Salamanders with the Melta.
Yeah,
right?
There's what are these Outriders and
then the Blood Angels, the Soul. I mean, it's all cool. It's very, very cool. You get little panels, Grey Knights, Death Watch over here. Moving on, Sisters, huge 2-page spread of all tanks all the time for all you guard players.
All you treadheads out there you go.
There's the new guy.
Yeah, Mechanicus stuff.
Mechanicus, Knights. Okay, then we move into the Chaos section. We're going to go over here again. We get all of our lore and background of Chaos and the Traitor Legions. What's going on?
Wait, this guy looks cool. I just want to point him out. This is one of the characters. We've seen this model before, but he's got his helmet here. He's got an axe. That's just a cool looking renegade Chaos dude.
He is a Red Corsair, I think.
Yeah, I think that's him.
Warzone Vigilance. We get your little 2-page spread. Hey, if you want to learn more, go buy Vigilance.
A nod to the Vigilance campaign.
Yep, it's in there. You get all your Traitor Legions, Chaos Demons, Chaos Knights, Scourge Stars. This is actually kind of cool. This had not been detailed before.
Yeah.
So now this is the big area that's kind of the opposite of the Eye of Terror. It's on the other. It's on the eastern side.
It's very close to the Ultima Segmentum, which is where the Ultramarines are. So we've got actually Macragge right here, Black Reach. But up here is their whole 500 stars or whatever.
So you get a new place to set your campaigns and all the order of battle of who's fighting over there. Chaos, so many Chaos miniatures.
All the Chaos.
Morty!
Yep.
Morty, or we're going to skip past that.
Night on night
Chaos
action there.
I love this picture because it's so yellow. It's so good.
I just like the paint job on that rust bucket of a knight. Check that out. This is all dented up and stuff. Anyway.
On to Xenos.
Yeah.
Same thing as we saw. Again, fantastic art. Looking good. Inari do now have their own page.
Hey, where have you guys been?
Wouldn't be surprised to see them get a codex in the future.
Yeah.
A new war zone for them.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And there we go.
Necrons. Big chunk of Blackstone.
Yeah, tell you what's going on with them.
Orcs, Tau.
and the Tau.
And then their Warzone 5th expansion.
There is another cool thing they do on the Galactic on the big Galactic Map.
Yeah.
We forgot they now specifically show where the 5th zone expansion is.
Can we flip back and show it off real quick?
Because it was kind of vague before. We just knew it was in the Galactic South, north, and it was how far away is it from Tau space?
I think it's that way more. Yeah,
it's right here.
Yeah, I knew it was
here we go. Okay, so I'll let Adam center us, but what we have is
all right. So we've got the big map here. We've got the Tau.
There's the Tau Empire in the in Imperium Sanctus, and then up here in Nihilus, right there.
There's the 5th sphere expansion.
So it's way up there on the north side.
Okay, so we've jumped from there to there.
For all you Deep Space Nine fans,
there you go.
That's the wormhole.
That is the wormhole that
takes
the
them
Tau
from there to over there.
Very cool.
So now we know exactly where it is.
Yeah. Cool. That's actually new and relevant.
Yeah.
So.
I like that.
Tyranids,
you get the bugs, and then of course you get all the sexy miniatures.
We're going fast because there's a lot of ground.
Yeah, we're going gauze. Of course, this book is totally up to date, so anything that's out is in this book.
There's
new Shadow Sun is there.
Yep.
All the new stuff is in here.
I'm gonna look. Is there any new Tyranid bugs? No,
there's not. I'm sorry. They're underground.
They're burrowing. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Come up for air, guys.
The rules.
Yeah. Now
here we go.
We are gonna go. We're not gonna go do a how to play section here, folks.
Correct. We're going.
Right. We're gonna hit some of the highlights here in the new rules. There's a lot of ground to cover. We may even end up doing a more in-depth thing later on. But for this overview, we're gonna go through some of the key features in the new rule section and talk about the formatting and some of the new rules. So let's dive in.
Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you is that the rule section feels a lot more like the rule sections in rule books are from previous editions before 8th edition.
Would you say this feels more like a pre-8th edition? It's like 7th edition,
yes.
6th edition,
so
previous.
They've taken... So if you guys remember when they went to 7th to 8th, it was a complete streamlining and cutting down of the rules, and they had the core rules down to approximately 8 to 10 pages. The core rules in this book are approximately 30 pages, so more than twice, but it's still the same rule set. It's that they've rewritten all those rules to be much more precise, and they've put in a little bit more detail almost in every section. Okay. So it feels like 8th edition, except it's much more precise, and there's a lot more detail.
You remember these guys,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You remember these core rules? It's a little 8-page pamphlet thing.
Right. Well, that is now 30 pages.
Yeah, they took this section, they expanded everything out. They went into more detail.
They gave you examples.
They gave you examples. They cleaned stuff up. They clarified rules.
Right.
It's 8th edition plus with more clarity. So let's keep going.
Right. So we got our key. You get all your basics. How do you define dice? What do keywords mean? You get all of just about how to measure, all the basic stuff.
Real fast too. They did clarify also wholly within versus within.
Right.
This
is the kind of thing that we're talking about, where things that they would have assumed, they're now being like, let me give you specific definitions of every turn, which is going to make the game more precise. And once both players know what's going on, there should be less arguments.
Yeah, that's the number one thing for me, too, with this new rule set. The way they've structured things is it should cut down on the amount of rules fighting you have about certain things, because they have defined everything and given you examples.
Exactly.
And these bullet points are super handy.
Right, because every section is basically the bullet points are almost kind of what the 8th edition rules were. So it's basically, here's the quick and dirty of how the rules work.
And then if you need to read the full
thing, then here's like the full ultra detailed.
Again, starting strength, half strength, and destroyed units. They haven't really classified that before, and now they have.
It's a different philosophy of writing rules and laying them out. It's similar to what we've seen from some of the other major manufacturers in the space.
Yeah. Keep going page-wise. Data sheet breakdown. We don't need to go through that.
How does a data sheet work?
Yeah.
Right. Everything you got there. Here's the thing.
The new phase. So, real quick, this is brand new. This is the new phases. This part's the new part. The command phase is new to the game. It even talks about out-of-phase rules. We're not going to touch on that. But the key thing about the command phase, this is the shortest section in the phases.
Right. It's just one page.
It's one page, and it tells you what happens here. If you have a Battleforged army, you get a Battleforged CP bonus. You gain 1 CP if the army is Battleforged. Resolve any rules that occur in the command phase, and then progress to the movement phase. And it's, again, that's the shortest one. And then we start getting way, way more in depth here.
Right, exactly. So movement phase. So I want you guys to watch this, because we're not going to go over every one of these rules, but this is the movement phase. You move, and you get your reserves in. 1, 2 pages, specific definitions. What does normal move? What does advance mean? What does remain stationary mean? What does fallback mean?
This normal move is interesting too, because we never had in the previous editions a quote normal move.
Correct.
But this actually says no. When you just move your standard 4 or 6 inches or whatever during the move part, that was what a normal move was.
Right. So again, they're being extra precise.
Right. And I appreciate it.
They're erring on the and then so you get your 2 pages there. Then you get your reinforcements, and then you get weird. Some of the rules,
advanced rules,
say advanced, which they're core rules. Everyone's going to use them when you go to the game store. How do you move over terrain? How does flying work?
Right.
All the transport rules. Disembarking, embarking, and destroyed. All that stuff is here. All that
again
stuff.
under an advanced rules tab, but realistically, those are part of the core basic rules too.
How do aircraft work? What are their weird exceptions? You get 2 pages of aircraft.
Yeah, I appreciate too again the layout.
So you notice
it's very clear here, and then it's got your bullet points.
Right. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 pages just on the movement phase.
Yeah.
Psychic phase, 2 pages. How it all works, how psychic powers work, denying the witch, perils of the warp, everything.
Yep.
Have smite, the default power. It's all there.
Warp charge 5.
It's all laid out. Shooting. Obviously, this one is going to be more in depth. It's going to take a little longer. How it all works, how you select targets, what locked in combat means, number of attacks.
Yep.
That's 2 pages. All your different weapon categories, they're all still here.
Yep.
And then you get your...
These haven't really changed too much. Pistols, for example, can be shot if the firing model's unit is within engagement range of the enemy unit. Meaning, that's a new change. Again, engagement rule is now 1 inch. Was kind of how it worked before, but now it's spelled out even more clearly. And you cannot... pistols cannot be shot alongside any other type of weapon. Again, those were things that were in the old pistol rules, but now they are spelled out with bullet points that are make it very, very clear.
Yeah. And then you get the new things. So Lookout Sir was there. Now we get the new section on blast weapons. You get the new section on big guns never tire.
Yep.
So the things that used to be kind of rare in data sheets, now they're being pulled into into the main rules. How you're going to make all your attacks, how saving throws. This is pretty much the same. Again, just clearer.
Yeah. Vulnerable saves.
How does vulnerable saves work? How do mortal saves work? How does ignoring wounds, which some units have,
AKA
rules.
feel no pain. Those
Correct.
type of saves.
Yeah, and it clarifies exactly how that how this interacts with the other rules, which is nice. Charging. Here's how it all works. Here's how heroic interventions work. Note, heroic interventions. This is a lot of space.
A lot more.
Heroic interventions in the previous rules was like 3 sentences. So now they're being very precise. This is how it works. This is an important part of the rules. We're going to spell it all out for you.
Real fast, too, there is a big charge change here that's going to affect things. It's this 3rd bullet point. If insufficient to move charging unit into engagement range of all targets, charge fails.
So be careful.
If you try to do a multi-charge to try to pull in another unit that's 10 inches away, and you roll a 7 and can only get the unit that's 6 inches away,
you get nothing.
Yeah,
so be careful.
So be aware.
Charging over terrain, how it intersects with flying. Overwatch is right there.
How that all works.
Into the fight phase. There we all go. Same thing, selecting targets, fighting, rolling, consolidating.
Yep.
And then morale. And morale is somewhat distant. It is somewhat different. You have morale tests and how they work now. So in general, morale may be as lethal or more lethal than it was in 8th edition, but in a different way.
Right. You're not going to fail a morale check and the unit gets wiped, but it's going to affect those units that have, like... You're actually going to be making checks, and it's actually going to matter more. It's not going to be pass or fail... die or wiped out. It's gonna die or survive. It's gonna be like, well, you're gonna lose some dudes.
Right. You're gonna lose some dudes, and then at the very end of the morale phase, now you have to do your unit coherency checks.
Yeah.
And models that are out of coherency are dead.
Yeah.
You remove them.
Yeah.
So
again, it's a big deal. Like, that's gonna be simultaneously more deadly, but also if you can mitigate it. Yeah.
All right. Now we're on to missions. We're going to go over the mission section quickly because it's basically how do missions work, how do objectives work. They give you definitions, and then you get a ton of missions for all the different things.
So I want to point out too, create the battlefield. This is how you're going to select the new table sizes.
Yep.
These have been talked about in a lot of other places. But that's going to, how do you want to do the table size? It also talks about, gives you some rough time estimates here. One of the big changes is most games are 5 turns now. So that's kind of a big change.
How you build an army, power ratings,
points values.
Points values, you get some sample armies. What battle-forged armies are.
The new command point structures, how this all works.
How they,
one other thing.
How detachments.
Gaining and refunding command points, you know how those CP things stack here, so that's clarified as well. So that used to be a thing in 8th edition where you try to regain as many battle points or command points as you can.
Detachments work. You get them all. You get all the little logos, and then you get all your forward.
Yeah.
All there.
And again, very cool. Most of this stuff here, if you take the warlord in the unit, it refunds the cost of the command points back to you, so you can take at least 1 detachment without it costing you anything. Mm-hmm. The only other funky one was the super heavy command detachment, which is
right there.
Yeah, supreme command detachment. Excuse me. There's the super heavy detachments, which are also funky, but this one again costs 0. But if you take it, this is a new thing. You can have a Primarch, Daemon Primarch, or a Supreme Commander unit. Larry, have we seen any Supreme Commander units in 8th edition? Because I think
I think that's new.
So just FYI, keep an eye out for new units that might be labeled Supreme Commander. Anyway, that's probably going to be your Guillemins, your Gazgols, perhaps.
The Silent King.
The Silent King type of guys. But you can take them in an army, and they have to be your Warlord if you use the Supreme Command attachment, because it's the Supreme Command attachment. But that will refund back your points based on the type of detachment you've taken. So if you take a brigade detachment, you get back your 4 command points, etc.
Which is cool.
It's cool. It's neat stuff.
Stratagems. This is the one I'm sure everyone is looking at. We're going to talk a little bit about this. There are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 default stratagems that everybody gets. So here they all are, up from the 3 that we had previously. Command reroll is still there. Cut them down. This is what lets you inflict extra casualties on people if they try to break away.
When they try to fall back now, you can actually punch them, which is nice.
Desperate Breakout, that's the opposite. It's expensive. This is 2 CP to attempt to break out.
Yeah.
Emergency disembark.
Well, this is also different too, because it's you can attempt. This happens during the movement phase too, so it's a fallback move. But yeah, it's 2 CP now. It's more expensive. Emergency disembarkation. Again, this one allows you to deploy 6 inches instead of just 3 inches from the destroyed vehicle. You don't get attacked by the blast, but you do have a chance of dying. The models. Firing Overwatch now costs CP, and you can only use one stratagem per phase.
Counteroffensive.
You can only use the stratagem once per phase.
And counteroffensive and Insane Bravery are the old standbys.
Right,
still there.
But they're now 2 CPs.
And they're C. Yeah, exactly. Which is great. I like that.
Yeah.
How strategic reserves work.
Actions. These are new. Actions are a new thing to 9th edition here. Performing actions. Really quickly, when you want to perform an action, usually those are tied to secondary mission objectives, which we'll cover later. But they'll tell you the specifics of which action phase. It could be movement, it could be combat, whatever. But using an action means you basically sacrifice your turn to do whatever the action
100%.
is. There's also psychic actions. They essentially function a lot like a psychic power. In the sense that if you're trying to do those psychic actions as part of a secondary psychic objective, they can they'll have a warp charge value, and your opponents can try to deny them. So it's a way for the counterplay for psychic powers. I actually think this is a really important one, because it makes psychics even more important in the game overall, as you can score. One of them is like 3 VPs if you pull it off. And you can do that every psychic phase. So think about it. Psychic powers, man, they became even more powerful.
Terrain. This is the all-new terrain system, which I love. So what this is they basically have completely thrown out the old way of doing terrain. It is an entirely new system. Now we have area terrain, which is kind of back to being abstracted. There's hills, obstacles, buildings.
So true line of sight, yes or no? That's the big question.
It is, except there are certain types of terrain that count as blocking.
Right. So if you, for example, if it has the
area
obstruction terrain, or obstacles or area terrain, it's got the keywords here or whatever. Even though there might be windows, if you've got a big chunk of board, you can't really fire through all the windows, even if you have true line of sight. If you're shooting a keyhole shot through 3 windows and a door,
that's not going to work.
If it's got the obstruction or obstacle or whatever keyword, it doesn't work like that.
So here's all of the different traits.
Yeah.
And basically what you're going to do is you're going to look through these traits, and then you're going to look through your own terrain collection of whatever you own, whether you have an entire beautiful table of all Games Workshop terrain, or whether you're playing with sheets and shoeboxes and Coke cans. Whatever you have, you're going to categorize your terrain according to which of these special rules you want it to have.
Ideally before you start playing.
And both players should know.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise.
Matter of fact, if you want to write, if you have your own terrain collection, and
make
you want to
card.
Make cards for each piece of terrain and say, hey, this is what this one does, and make sure everybody's on the same page before you start.
Right. And what this means is that now you will be able to have a good game that's entertaining and fun with whatever kind of terrain you personally have in your collection, which is fantastic. For tournaments, it's fantastic because it means that tournament organizers and those guys, every tournament in the world has a unique, bespoke set of terrain that they've collected over years. It's going to let them do the same thing. They're going to be able to go and categorize everything. We want this thing to have these rules.
And you can add whatever keywords you want to whatever terrain feature you want.
Correct.
As long as everybody knows how to.
There are no rules that says a terrain feature can only have 1 or 4. It's whatever you want. It's just these are Legos. These rules are Legos, and you can build whatever you want to out of them. And then they give you and then they give you examples. They're like, oh, here's examples. Here's 9 different things that that you could collect, and these are the rules we gave them.
You can even just use these. We have a ruin. Okay, that's default ruin. Here's a terrain. It has area terrain. It has terrain traits: scalable, breachable, light cover, defensible, and obscuring.
Right.
Boom.
Let's look at number 5.
Number 5,
because that's woods.
Woods. Boom. Terrain. Area terrain. Okay, easy enough. Dense cover, breachable, defensible, difficult ground. Right. Okay, perfect. Now we all can agree that's what woods
what that is.
Yeah,
which is great. And then so here's an interesting thing that I want you guys to get your head around, which is that. As we looked, we may have missed it, but we could find no reference anywhere in this book where any mission tells you how much terrain you're supposed to have on your tables.
Yeah.
So that is up to you. So what they're basically saying is they're saying these are the rules for how you define terrain, and then they give you different examples of boards just to inspire your imagination. So they're like,
it's the pirate code,
right?
These are really more guidelines,
right? So it's like this is a fairly dense table. This is a table where they've put a lighter level of terrain. Here's a table that has, more terrain, has big terrain on the edges and small stuff in the middle. Here's a terrain, So they're just giving you examples of different densities and their concepts of what types of rules they would use on them. But the missions don't specify any of this stuff.
Right. The missions actually say use the rules from pages like 267 to 269, which are these. Yeah.
So to me, I think that's cool because that means what we're going to see is everyone's using the same rules, but every little small niche and group is going to be playing 40K the way their players want to.
Right.
Based on what they have.
And again, the guidelines here are very much like, hey, this is a lighter board. You can add more terrain to it to do this, but you want to have open area. You want to have room to maneuver, but you don't want to have just all open table. So it's good guidelines, and it's really more of a spirit of the rules type of thing.
There's open play. We're going to go through it really quickly. You get a bunch of missions.
Yep. Real fast too, these missions do not have board edges defined. They only have the centers and the deployment zones defined, which is interesting because that means it scales up to whatever size table you're playing on.
Right.
So
it's all measured basically from the center of the table out.
Yep.
Match play. There are like 18 missions in here. We're just, like I said, we're just going to flip through them quickly. There's
not defined. The only things that are defined here are your dead zones here in some cases, but table edges, it's mostly again from the center of the board. It's not really defined from.
Yeah, they'll give you all your secondary, your primary. Yeah, you'll notice there's not anything in any of these missions that specifically tells you how to set up terrain.
Yeah, real fast too, secondary objectives. The players can select their secondary objectives if they can. They can choose one of the following data intercept below. So some of them have the special secondary objectives for the particular mission, and in some cases you can bring in the outside secondary objectives, like if you wanted to use the psychic action secondary objectives.
And some of them specify.
Yeah.
So we're going to go narrative play. Okay, so we're done with
this is a big section.
This is a big section. This is like a 50-page section. They put a lot of work into this, and this is the entire concept of, hey, I love to play with my collection. I want to basically tell cool stories and forge narratives in Warhammer 40,000, but I don't necessarily want to do it in the like, hey, one-off, I'm better than you. Let's play a competitive one-shot game. You want to play a series of games. So you're going to choose your faction. You're going to have a roster. There's going to be all kinds of sheets we'll go past. You get crusade cards. You get requisition points.
This is how you refill your army after the games.
Correct. So you're going to be using points to kind of refill and buy things. Mm-hmm. You can get fresh recruits. You can buy relics.
This is straight up get more stuff. This is 5 power level for one requisition point.
You can get warlord traits. You can psychic powers. There's all kinds of things you can spend your points on. Also, as you're successful in play games, your units and army are going to gain battle honors, which are a bunch of tables that are cool special abilities. And there's different tables for characters, for monsters, for any other unit, for vehicles, which is cool. So as you play through this whole series of games, your army is going to slowly. This is neat. You can actually subtly change individual weapons on your key people. Maybe like, oh man, I have like this.
Increase the range or add the damage or up the weapon strength. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, Bessie has a super good battle cannon. She's been through some stuff.
I got this nice scope on here now.
Yep. Yeah. It's like fortitudes, sample relics.
Yeah.
That you can buy and add to your thing. What happens if units are knocked out? Battle scars. These are a new set of tables that are just kind of
applied when you get out of action, things like that.
Right, characterful things.
Yep.
How you build your armies, roster.
There's the roster.
It's a whole, like I said, it's a whole thing, and then there's an entire pack of missions just for narrative play. So as you can tell, narrative play kind of got short shrift in past editions.
Oh yeah.
They're really giving it a lot of love this time, and I think that
I think the Crusade is going to be a fantastic way to collect and build an army. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like if you have a local play group, if you have a group of guys, I think you will totally see people being like, oh, we have like
let's do a Crusade campaign,
a narrative play campaign for the next 2 or 3. Just default one-off pickup games don't have to be the default way you play anymore.
Right,
which is cool. That's going to get us to the edge
of that. Or if you're playing, like we were saying, if you're playing in a local play group, you want to do a whole campaign series or whatever, 6-week campaign. We're doing Crusade. Go.
Yep. Rules Appendix, this is the last 10 pages of the book, and what we have here is you have a designer's commentary telling you, what's going on by Robin Credis. You get the master list of blast weapons, because they even say, hey, these are all going to be updated and worked into their data sheets, in fact, and when the codexes come out. But for now, so you all know, here's every blast weapon in the game. So those are all blast weapons. That's nice. And then what you have over here is rare rules. This is interesting.
Aircraft too. We got to call that out. Those are all the things that have been redefined from just flying vehicles will fly to actual aircraft.
Right.
Yeah. Want to mention that one.
And then our rare rules. What they have here is these are rules that are somewhat common that lots of different units across the game have, and they just kind of pulled them all here.
These are your weird corner case things that can happen, and they've codified them, given you the bullet points, explain things,
and giving you page numbers.
This one example: benefits of cover when not in terrain. What does that even mean anymore? Well, it equals light cover now. It's +1 to saving throws against ranged weapons, and invulnerable saves are not affected. There you go.
Like if you get a power that says that a unit gets to shoot again, what specifically does that mean?
Right.
Tells you all the legalities of how you do that.
Yeah.
What happens if you have rules that say a unit always fights first or last, and those rules are overlapping and it gets confusing? Yep. This tells you exactly how to do order of operations.
Again, it is spelled out in such a clear way.
Yep.
It's great.
And then my favorite part,
which we mentioned earlier,
the glossary. Yeah. So this is the kind of thing. It's cool. It's very. You don't normally see this in Games Workshop products. I love it.
Yeah.
It's alphabetical. It's every major rules concept that exists in the rules. You get it's alphabetized. They're in bold. Then you get the kind of quick and dirty version of what is the rule and the page number to take you back if you want to see the full giant in-depth detail. So
it's great.
It's going to save you a huge amount of time.
It is fantastic.
Like how many times have you played a 40K game and like what percentage of your game is spent with the man? Where's that rule? I know it's in this section somewhere. I need the rule for this, and you're flipping and flipping and
Where
flipping.
was command points at again?
Right.
CP command points 244. Okay, cool.
Right, and there you go, and you get a full glossary, and that is it.
Yeah,
that's
Real quick, no points, but you're not supposed to have any points in this book anyway because it's the core rule book.
Correct. This book has there are 0 points in this book whatsoever. So all that is going to be coming in
your codexes and
elsewheres.
But yeah, that is the core rulebook overview. We went through pretty much everything. This particular edition of the book is available in the Warhammer 40,000 Indominus boxed set, the new launch box set. I'm sure they're going to have individual core rulebooks out at a later date. We saw the cover inside this book, so we're excited about it. New edition's looking really spicy. So go check this all out. Real fast too, the Indominus boxed set, launch box, is up for pre-orders starting July 11th and will be a street date of July the 25th. If you're watching this before those dates, if you're watching it, that's 2020 by the way. If you're watching it after that fact,
then you already have it.
You probably already have it. I don't know why. Go look at it or go pick it up. Do something. Anyway, I am AdamHarry, and I'm here with...
And I'm Larry.
We're from BoLS Souls. Thanks for watching. Click to subscribe. Check out more videos. And thanks for watching.